Good morning, everyone. It's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and we are about to do our yin yoga practice. I recommend having some blocks. We're going to get started standing today. So come to the back of your mat, and that's where the action's going to happen. Here we go. Okay, so find your feet firmly planted. They can be side by side or about hips width distance apart. Take a moment to roll your shoulders down and back and stretch your fingers down towards the floor. Start to squeeze your glutes, a little gentle engagement of your quads, of your glutes, feeling your kneecaps lift up here and stretch tall through the crown of your head. Either focusing your eyes on one spot or closing them, begin to tune into your breath here. Long, slow, deep inhales in through your nose. Longer, slower exhale out through your nose or mouth. Start to pay some attention to the grounding of the feet to the floor. We want to make sure that our legs are engaged here. We also don't want to jam the kneecaps back. So starting with just pressing firmly through the heel, the balls of the feet under the big toe, under the pinky toe, coming back to that squeeze of the glutes and hips forward, but there can be a bend in your knees here, and you can still feel those kneecaps lift up from where you might have started. If you want to set an intention for your practice today, it's a beautiful time to do so, whether you have a positive affirmation that you are repeating to yourself to help you create some relaxation, or maybe you're sending some energy out there into the universe to someone that you know that might need it. And it's okay if your positive affirmation changes throughout your practice, whether that be the practice just today or your practice over this whole year, because your needs can change. But start thinking towards speaking positive, encouraging words to yourself. I know I'm still working on my mantra for 2024, but I'm bringing into my heart and into my being the concept and the reality that I am responsible and capable of creating positive, permanent change. Last few breaths here, just starting decompressing our shoulders, lifting your heart, engaging your glutes, finding your quads, finding your feet. On your next inhale, hands palms turn forward and come up overhead. Draw your belly in, bend your knees as much as you need to. You can hinge from your hips as we rain our fingers down towards the floor. Option to come into a half lift for a moment. Find some length, a nice flat back, and then paint your belly down your thighs. So as generous of a bend of your knees as you want. We're still warming up here, so just take a moment as your head and hairline relax down towards the floor to bend one knee and then the other. And if the floor feels really far away, then bring your block or blocks into play or increase the bend that you have in your knees. And then we're going to come into some stillness. So recreating that flat back. Notice if you're really pushing your hands into the floor. There's a lot of rounding in your upper back, and work to bring your chest a little forward towards your triceps. Still can have lots of weight in your heels. If you want or are ready for more of a stretch, beginning to bring a bit more pressure into your toes, lifting your hips up. And if the floor feels really far away, if your block feels really far away, grab hold of your opposite elbow just to create that heaviness of your upper body into your lower body. And big breaths right now to your upper back. Take notice if your shoulders were drawn up towards your ears. I know mine were, so as you can, roll your shoulders down and back, just like we did while we were standing. We're going to enjoy 1 more minute here. Shoulders drawn away from your ears, belly drawn in, that bending your knees to bring belly and thighs to touch. On your next inhale, option to come into a half lift. Hands can be on the block. As you heel toe your feet out, mats width distance apart. Heels in, toes out. Block can come along with you as you lower yourself down into a squat. It's pretty early here, so I'm definitely going to use that block to help support in the squat, whether you stack your blocks for a little bit of support or you're on the high end or the low end. The block can help you just bring your heels down to the mat. And then elbows placed at your inner thighs can help you create more of a stretch into your hips. Remember, breath first, stretch second. So find your long, slow, deep, relaxed, intentional breath, and then create some sort of a stretch. And it might be really uncomfortable, and it might just be noticeable depending on how your body feels today. Come back to finding one spot to focusing your eyes. If your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. We're going for total body stillness. 1 more minute right here. Fantastic. As you're ready, we're going to release ourselves down to the floor into tabletop. You can always fall forward a little bit. You're close to the floor. Trust yourself. And then walk those knees in. Blocks can go to the side. Spread your fingers nice and wide like a starfish and start to come into some cat cow. Starting off with some traditional cat cow here, but move at the pace that you want or need. So perhaps you spend a little bit longer arching your back in cat or cow. Maybe a full cycle of breath or two in each stretch. And if you want to create any other range of motion for yourself for this next minute, maybe some shakes or some shimmies with your hips, with your shoulders, some big circles. Very normal for one side of your body to be tighter than the other. So if you need to give a little bit more love and attention to one side because that's what feels right for you, that is okay. This is your practice. And as we move throughout our asanas today, if you feel inspired to do something else, to take an extra break, to enjoy some extra breath, then please do. Allow yourself to be your guide as much as possible. When you're ready, send your glutes back towards your heels. Arms can stretch forward for child's pose, or you can have a generous bend in your elbows if you want or need. If your upper back is feeling really tired, consider extending your arms towards your heels. Find some relaxation, shoulders away from your ears. And create your stillness where you can. So maybe you're not as deep in the stretch today as you might normally be, or as you might want to be. But use your props, use your arms for support. Enjoy your breath. On your big inhales, creating space on your backside rib expansion, and on your exhales, contraction. Last few breaths here, stretching into your hips, your glutes, perhaps even feeling a little bit of a stretch into your ankles if they're very tight. Next up, we'll bring the stretch into our upper backs with a little puppy pose. As you're ready, if your hands were extended towards the back of the mat or still close to your chest and shoulders, start to extend your hands forward. They can be nice and wide, maybe even mat width distance apart, and bring your eye gaze forward. We're going to press ourselves forward, chest coming towards the floor. Eye gaze can stay towards the floor, and you might even want to walk your knees in a little bit closer, especially if you had them wide. If your upper body is really tight, you might not be able to get your chest to the floor. But thankfully, your block is nearby, and you can always bring your chest down to your block, working to stack your hips and your knees. Eye gaze can stay down towards the floor for a little bit of an easier stretch, or look towards the top of the mat for something a little bit harder. And if you're still having a lot of trouble here, opening your arms a little wider might help. Or simply sink yourself back to your child's pose. Shoulders draw down away from your ears. Find your big breath. And gently press your knees towards the floor. Keep separating your glutes, stretching them towards the back of the room. Hands, palms, forearms can really press down towards the mat. The last two big breaths here. On your next exhale, slide yourself forward. Take your time, no rush. Bring your belly down to the mat. Make a pillow with your hands palms. Place your forehead on your pillow and completely relax. Tune into your breath. Shoulders down away from your ears. Tension out of your glutes. And it's entirely possible that that last stretch was still a lot on your low back. So if your low back still feels really tight, if you're having trouble releasing here, go ahead, bend your knees, soles of the feet up towards the ceiling, and just windshield wipe your feet as slowly as you need to, left and right, relieve that low back tension. And then when you're ready, go ahead, relax your feet back down towards the floor. Let's take a moment, a nice savasana on our bellies. Arms down by your side, palms facing up towards the ceiling. Gently look towards the right side of the room. Allow your shoulders to gently droop towards the mat. And once again, find that one spot to relax your eyes or simply close them. On your next inhale, slowly pick your head up and bring the opposite ear to the mat towel. Find a new spot to relax your eyes. Allow those shoulders to droop towards the floor. Complete relaxation. Long, slow, deep inhales in through your nose. Long, slow exhale out through your nose or mouth. We're going to stay here on our bellies for a little bit, get some nice stretches into our legs. We'll do one side at a time. Hopefully your strap is within reach though, just in case you need to use it and you already have a nice loop on your strap so that you can help to grab hold of your feet. Bringing your head back down towards the floor, just like we started in this nice alligator's pose, shoulders roll down away from your ears. We're going to keep our left leg right where it is, left hand where it is. Bend your right knee and reach back, grab hold of the right foot. Let's start grabbing hold of the foot however you want, whether it's hand on the inside or outside. I'm going to have my hand on the outside by the baby toe. I want you to squeeze your glutes, press your hip down to the floor, and stretch your knee down to the bottom of the mat. So we're bringing a stretch into our quads for right now. Shoulders still drawing down away from your ears. That big squeeze of your right glute, the stretch of the knee towards the bottom of the mat. It's going to open the front side of your thigh. And this can bring a nice stretch into your shoulder as well. Option to bring a little bit more movement and stretch into your whole back here at the end, bringing your left arm towards the mat. So our chest is gently going to lift. Not too much pressure in that left arm though. You're going to squeeze your glute and kick your toe back. The kick of your toe back and up lifts your thigh up off of the floor, bringing more of a stretch into your back. Look up towards the ceiling for 3, 2, 1. Carefully lower everything down. Make that pillow with your hands again. We're going to take the right thigh and draw it out towards the side for a little half frog. So working to create 90 degree angles. Your toes are flexed up towards your knee. Your right knee is as in line with your hip as possible. And this time you're pressing your inner thigh gently towards the floor. So still a little squeeze of the glutes. You might feel that big stretch on the outside of the glute into the hip flexor. Relax. Shoulders away from your ears again. Big breaths. Beautiful stillness. Gently walk, wiggle that right leg back to meet with the left. Take a moment here in the alligator. Complete relaxation of the right side of the body. We're going to keep the right hand down on the floor. This time, we're going to extend our left arm towards the back of the mat. Bend your left knee, grab hold of your left foot, or using your strap. I'm holding on from the outside of the foot, but if it's an easier grip for you from the inside of the foot, a little bit more rotation through the shoulder, then you go for it. Now, start to squeeze your glute, press your left hip flexor down towards the floor, stretch your knee down towards the bottom of the mat. Your chest can still stay really close towards the floor. As we begin, you're just working to create a nice stretch in your quad. So quad might stay pretty close towards the floor. Let's take a couple more breaths here before we bring it into that total back stretch. So right side completely relaxed, left side engaged and working. Last few breaths. Okay, coming into that little half sphinx arm on one side. We're staying right where you are in that quad stretch. Start to kick your toes up towards the ceiling. Rolling that shoulder down and back. Eye gaze looks up towards the ceiling. Last few breaths. On your exhale, lower yourself down back to that pillow with your hands. And your left leg this time is going to create that half frog stretch. So 90-90 degree angles, left toes flex up towards your knee in line with your hip, pressing your inner thigh down towards the floor. Beautiful stillness. Go ahead, extend that left leg long to meet with your right. We'll stay on the belly just a little bit longer. Extend right arm out to the side. Left hand comes close by your chest. We're going to bend that left leg and push into your left hand as you roll over to the right side. Right hand palm is in line with the shoulder, and we're just bringing the left toes towards the floor. You can create more of a stretch with left knee pointing up towards the ceiling, but your thighs can always stay towards each other. Shoulders relax down away from your ears. Option for a bigger stretch through your back as you walk your arms out, both arms in a T. Find a place where you can relax. We've got just over 2 minutes to go here. Come back to scanning your body 1 inch, one breath at a time, starting at the top of your head. What and where can you relax and create a little bit more softness halfway through? If you extended your left arm out into a T, bring it back in by your chest. Use that hand to support yourself as you roll over onto your belly, extending your left leg long, extending your left arm out wide to the side. Go ahead, bring your right hand in close by your chest. Use that to help support you as you bend your right leg. And this time we'll roll to the left side, whole new side of the body. Relaxing your head and hairline down towards the floor, finding a spot on the floor where your right toe can touch down. Maybe knee is pointing up towards the ceiling. Maybe you roll a little bit more on this side. Maybe your inner thighs are more towards each other. Just find the stretch that feels best for you. And once you find some stillness with that right foot, option to extend your right arm wide to the side, shoulders down away from your ears. Lots of space for breath, lots of stillness. Just a few more minutes here. Last stretch, bellies to the floor. Come back to that. Total body scan, 1 inch, one breath at a time. Work to create space, create softness. If you extended your right arm out into a T, walk, wiggle your right hand in by your chest, bring your legs back together, roll onto your belly, no rush, take your time. Once you're there, draw your left hand in, press yourself up. Let's return to tabletop. Enjoy a little bit more cat-cow, so walk your legs in, spread your fingers wide. This time find any range of motion that you want. We'll get a nice big heart opener from our backs next. During that heart opener, you'll have an opportunity to enjoy hip openers as well. All right, so let's make our way onto our glutes. Bring your blocks with you because we're going to enjoy some supported fish pose. We're going to take one block. One block's going to be at our mid upper back. The other block is going to be accessible to support our heads. You might prefer your back block to be on the higher height to support your head. I typically enjoy mine on the lower side. All right, using your hands to gently lower yourself down so that that first block is at the mid back between the shoulder blades. And then you bring in your head block for some supports. Knees can stay bent here, glutes stay down on the floor. Option for legs to extend nice and long. I actually like to take my legs in this posture and go for some double pigeon, stacking the legs. Maybe you prefer cross-legged. Find anything that feels good for the lower body, and then come back to scanning your body, head to toe. How can you relax more? Do you want to apply a little bit more pressure of the back onto the block? Do you want to apply more pressure of the upper shoulders towards the block? Your arms, elbows can help you create support here. Find that one spot, focus your eyes, heart opener, chest opener. So normal if you feel a lot of emotions stirring up here. We've already worked to open the hips a lot, and a lot of emotions are stored in the hips. But this gentle supported back bend here can also release a lot for people. So if you feel it, just let it go. Do your best. Find your breath. Create your stillness. Simply be. I hope you enjoyed a fantastic stillness, heart opening breath in this supported fish pose. We're going to gently work our way out. Consider bringing your feet back to the position they were in to help you get into supported fish pose. Arms back down by your side. I like to gently press into a forearm, press my head into the block behind me, roll to a side, remove the block at my spine, and then ease back down towards the floor. From here, take a moment, draw your knees to your chest. Gently rock side to side a couple times. Really get your whole spine firmly planted and relaxed on the mat. And then once it is, some small circles massaging your low back sacrum towards the floor. Go ahead, change the direction of those small circles of your back. And then on your next exhale, feet return to the mat, legs extend long, heels touch, toes fall open, arms by your side. Make any adjustment that you need as we come into our final savasana for a nice long savasana. Giving this asana the same attention, respect, devotion that you gave all the other asanas before it. Completely relax here. Find that new spot for your eyes on the ceiling or close them. Scan your body from head to toe, 1 inch, 1 breath at a time. And together for the last time today, work to let go of tension, whether you brought it with you to the mat, whether you found it while you were down here. You still have the power throughout your day, any day, to take a moment to use your breath and relax. This practice is so powerful in helping the way that we respond to the external stimulation around us, encouraging us to take that moment to check in with yourself and decide what you want or need, what really serves you, and then react appropriately. And then reminder that it is just a practice. It's not perfect. We're not perfect, but giving ourselves the grace to just know that we're doing our best one day, one breath at a time, and the power that is within creating time for yourself and allowing yourself to heal from the inside out by creating positive intentions, space for your breath, space for change. We'll stay right here on the floor, closing out our practice together, as I encourage you to enjoy this final savasana for as long as your body needs, which might be longer than your mind wants. Take some time here before you do get up from your mat to return to your intention if you set one, or perhaps today's the day that you do set one. And if no one has told you today, I do hope that you know that you are special and you are worth it and you are worthy, and there is no one better to be than yourself. In creating this time, you have made the power for even just one moment of today to be amazing. And while I hope your day is filled with many amazing moments, I encourage you to continue to take time for yourself, to think good thoughts, to speak good words, to eat good foods and do good deeds and nourish yourself from the inside out. Thank you so much for coming today, for putting your positive energy out there, for taking a part of mine as well. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your practice, a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.